the most, this and of course this expansion are the most easily defendable expansions. What he's got to do now, not only does he have to get his Nexus down here, but he's at the very least got to get a pylon down here. In fact, he's probably best off just to put a pylon down here. Keep his warp gates up here on the island, because, as I said, our Terran player has, he's just started a starport. So up until now, he's got absolutely nothing. Finally lifting off his orbital command, and he's going to be bringing this down. Yeah, he's going to be bringing this down to his natural expansion, which is pretty safe now, unless, of course, these carriers. You see the carriers here. There's, I believe, 2 carriers sitting here now. Yeah. Oh, so here's a scan going down. So the Terran knows exactly what's coming at him. He even sees the 2 carriers moving out right now. So what he's got to do, what our Terran's got to do right now, is possibly get a couple of turrets up along this side, or even try to bait that those carriers in. See the carriers starting to take out the supply depot now, trying to supply block. Let's go back down here. I don't know why that jumped. So what the Terran's got to do is bait these carriers down and then stim up, run in, and take these carriers out. Focus fire down these carriers. If we take a look down below here, so taking the 2 gas, we got our Nexus coming up here. The rocks should still be, or the scrap should still be there, giving you at least some warning. Although, if our Terran player decides that he's going to try and take that down, then MansonPrime won't have any clue that he's doing it, because he's got nothing down there to spot that. What he really needs to do is get a pylon down there and warp in some defensive units, some zealots, stalkers, and absolutely a couple of sentries in order to be able to really wall off that front. So what do we got? So our carriers now, which have taken no damage, moving back over to his main, probably, although why he's scouting with a couple of carriers, I'm not quite sure. Probably just taking a look to see what's up there, if he can actually come back. He better be careful. A turret can do a lot of good damage on one of those carriers if he doesn't focus it down. Although one, yeah, and he's coming right at that turret too. Although one turret, there's no way one turret's going to take out 2 carriers. In fact, one turret wouldn't even take out 1 carrier. Okay, so he's going to sit back out of range and just take out that turret. So now our Terran player has his expansion up and pretty well saturated. You got a mule there. Let's just take a look at our units. 30 probes to 29 SEVs and a mule, so that gives the advantage to the Terran player right now. The mule's doing so much better than the probes for mining. And we have 17 Marauders, 22 Marines, and a Ghost. That Ghost, especially if he gets his EMP up and running, will be absolutely devastating to most Protoss air units. Let's see what we got here. So we've got 3 carriers now. Starting to get to be a pretty good force. Our Terran here now has put a couple of turrets up, and MansonPrime's just moving back down along the side, just trying to pick off a few things. The Terran really needs to get that starport up and running as quickly as he can. He's got that sitting down at his front door now. Although, why he's got that... Oh, he moved it down so he could get the reactor. And he is training 2 Vikings now. If he gets out 4 or 6 Vikings, he should be able to focus fire down those those carriers fairly quickly, especially if he can bait them in anywhere near these turrets. So, quite frankly, the Terran player, this is the Terran player's game to lose right now. If he's got this huge bio ball still available, where he could go down and really take out all of these expansions and basically hold the Protoss player, the MansonPrime, to this one expansion, which, if we take a look, it's about halfway-ish mined out right now. It's fairly well saturated right now. It's got a fairly good saturation on the expansion down here. Finally warping in a pylon. He took a big risk by not doing this a lot earlier, but it seems to have paid off for him, because his Terran opponent just doesn't seem to be interested in taking map control. He has control of the 2 Zelnaga watchtowers, but that's pretty much where he ends it. So we got 4 Vikings now. Those Vikings could come in and start to pick off 6 Vikings. Okay, with 6 Vikings, absolutely. You can start to come in and focus fire down some of these carriers. The Terran player can't allow MansonPrime to get too many carriers, because if he does, they will be very difficult to take out. Looks like we're chrono boosting. Are we chrono boosting? Hard to see. No, what we're chrono boosting is our air weapons level 2. Now, this is going to be very helpful. And yeah, it looks like we've got the launcher for the carriers. Lifting, I'm not sure exactly why he lifted off his order of command there. And yeah, we can see the Vikings now focus firing down, well, not as well as they could. So the micro here on our Korean Terran, not all that good. He should have been able to take out that second carrier. We're down to 5 carriers, and obviously one is... what has he got left for hit points? 26 hit points. So he'll be able to take that out pretty quickly. So now we are chrono boosting out another carrier, 2 carriers. So our Protoss MansonPrime has transitioned completely into carriers now. He really doesn't have anything else at all. Really, what the Terran needs to do now, even if he isn't able to get these carriers out of the way, he does have 2 dropships, 2 medevacs. He needs to take some of this bio ball, which, quite frankly, is melting very quickly away. He needs to take some of these. There we go. Should be able to focus down that carrier. Yes. And all the Vikings are gone. So, not really good micro on the part of either of these. Oh, so the bio ball finally figured out that he was on a 2 base. Or did they? They just went down and took out the scrap, and then they moved away. Once they moved away, they then came back. Maybe that's a misclick on our Terran player's part. Finally was able to take that second base. So, as long, and yeah, you'll see he's finally actually sent something out to everyone. And MansonPrime looks like he started a 3rd base. As long as the Terran player really holds him off of these bases here, the MansonPrime is going to be completely restricted to this one base, which is pretty much mined out. He's got a couple of 100 minerals left. He's got absolutely nothing saved up in the way of minerals. Got a lot of gas, though, so not too bad. Really, all our Terran player had to do was get himself out a good anti-air force, which he obviously hasn't done, and now losing his starport. Oh, he's got 2 starports up there, right? Yep, he does. So now it looks like MansonPrime, while it looked like when he lost his base, it looked like he was out of the game. The fact that the Terran player didn't follow it up with anything at all has allowed MansonPrime to really come back into this game. We've taken out just about everything here. He's flying away and leaving those barracks where they are. The barracks is really the only structure that's going to be able to put out anything that can really give him a hard time right now. The Marines, with no starports up, the Marines are really the Terran player's best shot at winning this. You know, you've got so we got more barracks, 4 more barracks going up down here. But with Marauders aren't going to be able to hit the carriers. They're not going to be able to, quite frankly, squat some carriers. So, if the Terran player can get these barracks up and running and start mass producing his Marines, then he's got a shot. However, it doesn't look... Yeah, the MansonPrime is now focusing on the barracks again. If MansonPrime takes these out, well, that's going to be goodbye and all she wrote. And there's the GG. So, probably one of the most unorthodox strategies I think that we've ever seen. The Terran player had this game in hand. It was his to lose as soon as he took out MansonPrime's main. However, MansonPrime, a little bit of forethought, a little bit of a crystal ball there, had the foresight to move up and take the island expansion very early in this game, and then the Terran player just let him sit there and let him build back up. Whereas if the Terran player had have scouted that much earlier, had have built a lot more anti-air or a lot more air units, air-capable units, he would have been able to very easily take MansonPrime out very early, but he didn't. He sat back and let him build up a fairly large carrier force, and MansonPrime just came back and absolutely destroyed. So that was my very first StarCraft cast. Again, my name is DT StarCraft 2. I'm going to be continuing to cast, and congratulations on being in on the inaugural cast. I'm going to try to focus on North American players. There's a lot of casters out there now that, quite frankly, I admire. Husky, HD, Anaris. I love them all. And guys, if you ever listen to this, you're the reason that I get into the casting. But I want to try to focus on more of the North American players because I don't think they get enough focus. I mean, sure, I love watching Boxer games, Foxer games, Fruit Dealer games, Huck games as much as anybody else does, but I would love to see more of a focus on the North American players, so that's exactly what I'm going to try to do, track down some of the real top-tier North American players, see if I can get the replays from them, and start casting them, so hopefully we can raise the profile of some of the North American players. Again, thank you very much for watching. Please leave your comments on this cast if there's anything you'd like me to do different or do better. I'd be more than happy to hear from you, and please subscribe to my channel and keep watching because there's going to be lots more to come. And I am DT StarCraft 2 signing out.